Hey guys, what's up? What's going on out there today? Yeah, Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Another episode of What's the Right Shot, number 563. Look, today what we're going to work on are reflex volleys, right? So if you're playing a lot of doubles, and from time to time it happens, right? Someone puts up a relatively short ball, could be you, could be your partner, but one of those opponents over there has got you has got you lined up and they're ready to unload on you, and that's okay. Okay, so there's three keys here to reflex and volleys that you're going to see in today's episode during this point. Is that number one is you want to face the opponent directly on, right? You don't want to be slightly turned away, assuming worst case. No, you want to be able to face the opponent so that you can react with a forehand, maybe a ball right at you, or maybe a backhand from a real neutral position. And you just got to assume that it's coming to you, right? It might not, but you always want to 100% assume it's coming to you, and that's okay. Key number two is you got to soften up your eyes. You don't want any tension in your face, and you got to make sure that the death grip is not happening, right? You got to have really super relaxed hands on your on your racket handle. When you do, you dramatically increase your reaction, your reflex time. And then the third thing is you have to want this opportunity, right? And why? Because when you are successful with reflexing that volley back, is that you frustrate them. They thought they had a put away opportunity number two, but they thought they'd get some icing on the cake by being able to come right at you. Maybe there's a little intimidation factor. I don't know. But whatever it is you really want to be able to frustrate them. So, look, guys, before we get into it today, a quick reminder that if you've not yet picked up my 4 parts between points routine, which is the 80-20 reality, right? 80% of the time in matches, whether it's singles and or doubles, is spent between points and on side changes. Only 20% of the match is actually spent playing the points. So when you manage the 80% of the match really, really well, is you tend to play that next upcoming point to the very top of your current skill level. Look, I got a free 9-minute video for you that is going to work you through why mental toughness gets built between points and on side changes the 80% of the match. And really, mental toughness is emotional control. Number one, how do you react to the result of the end of that last point? Number one. And then number two, how do we build tactical clarity for how we're going to start the next point? When you do these things, you build a ton of confidence. Look, if you've not already done so, right down below, I want you to when we're done today, just go ahead and click that link, drop in a first name and email address, and you will get immediate access to this game-changing 9-minute video that's going to give you my very specific 4 parts between points routine. Guys, here comes today's episode of What's the Right Shot. All right, let's take this from the second serve in this point. And there's 2 reflex volleys here, yours truly. And the first one happens off of Paul's transitional shot, right? His transitional volley. And look, how often do we play this one cross court, just as a transitional approach volley? Most of the time. However, as the returner's partner here, yours truly, you've got to be assuming that the chances might be that it might come to you. If you're thinking, number one, please just go cross court, don't want to have to deal with this. If it does come to you, not going to work out, right? So just assume it's coming to you, even though it might not. And on this one, Paul gets a big, solid forehand. He's got the perfect spacing on this, right? Spacing in terms of distance away from the point of contact for him with his forehand volley, and he unloads. And so, look, I've got these 3 things going on this, right? Number one, I'm going to face him directly. I'm going to assume it's coming to me. I've got the soft hands, the soft eyes, and I just want the ball. I absolutely want it to come to me. Now, look, this is as tough as it's going to get where it's on the inside of the forehand, right? This is the one, that forehand shoulder inside the forehand, that makes it the toughest. So at some point, all you're doing is, okay, we're just going to get this thing back and see what happens. And you know what? good things tend to happen with, if you're thinking of those three things. And so, look, we get it back, and now here goes Keith with, I don't think his intended target, because the actual target ends up being a pretty fat sitter here for Paul's partner. And look, same deal. You want to feel like, okay, I'm going to face the opponent. I'm going to go soft hands. I'm assuming it's coming to me, and I want it. And why do I want it? Because if I can get this thing back, it's going to frustrate them, right? This is their second opportunity to maybe do some damage in terms of a put away, but also to what? Add a little icing on the cake for them. So this is not a volley. However, because you've got soft hands and because you assume it's coming to you with the soft hands, you can now react to what shot is played, and this is down at your feet. And okay, if you're tight here in the hands, you're never going to be able to get the racket down behind the bounce and do something in terms of at least shove it back. And this one works out pretty well, right? This one works out pretty well to where it's a tough little volley. It's a tough little volley, and Keith makes up for that forehand, and now he plays a nice little touch lob over them. So, guys, there you go. This is how you want to feel on your reflex volleys. First of all, you want to feel confident, obviously, right? Every time does it work out? No. But it works out more often if you're confident on it by building these three skills than not, right? I'm not saying you're to win it every time. But when you do like this, I mean, they had 2 point blank ranges right at you. And what did you do? Is you ended up kind of turning the tables on them. And maybe you didn't win the point, but your partner did. But this is frustrating for them to know that they had two shots at you, didn't get the job done, and you guys won the point. All right, guys, hope this has been helpful today. Here comes a quick reminder on the 80-20 reality. Guys, a quick reminder that if you've not yet picked up my free 9-minute video on my BPR, which is my between points routine, right, which is the 80-20 reality, right? 80% of the time when we're on the court in our matches, singles and or doubles, on average, 80% is spent between points, not playing the points, which is only about 20% of the time. Look, the reality is when you really manage the 80% well, you tend to play the points up to the very top of your skill level on a real consistent basis. And that's when we build confidence, right? So look, I got a free 9-minute video for you. The link is right down below in the description area. Look, mental toughness gets built between these points and on side changes. And really, what is mental toughness? Well, look, it's a couple things. Number one, it's emotional control. How do we react at the end of that last point, right? To the result of that last point. And then between points, it gives us an opportunity to really get some tactical, strategic clarity of how we want to start the next point. And all that adds up to confidence, right? So look, right down below, there's a link. I want you to click it if you've not already done so, and get signed up for this free 9-minute video, which describes for you my very specific 4 parts between points routine. Right down below is that link. Click it, drop in a first name and email address, and you'll get immediate access to this game-changing 9-minute video. All right, guys, it's time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'm going to see you again next time.